Tonight, I invite you to a journey, a voyage beyond the confines of limitation, into the vast, uncharted ocean of divine wealth. For there is a realm, unseen yet supremely potent, where your subconscious heart is being formed even as you sleep. Oh yes, you are never off duty in that realm. Every whisper, every image, every faith-infused word you speak before you drift into rest is planting seeds in the fertile soil of the spirit. So listen, you are not meant to crawl into scarcity when you close your eyes. You are meant to lay down into fullness, into abundance, into the overflowing currents of divine good. Sleep is not an absence of consciousness. It is a sacred threshold, and before you cross it, let your conscience be saturated with the truths that liberate. You see, many are living in the prison of want, thinking that resources are limited. That struggle is inevitable, that enough is a distant dream, but that, dear ones, is the lie of the carnal mind. The greater truth is this: abundance is your natural birthright. The source is never dry. The river of goodness never ceases. All you need to do is to open your inner vessel and allow it to flow through you. Before sleep, speak these words with courage. I release all fear, all doubt, all hesitation. I surrender to the divine current. I open to receive more than I have ever known. I am ready for the overflow. And then, imagine, see, feel, in your heart, the living stream entering you, suffusing you, expanding you. Let the imagery be vast: gold, light, rivers, blossoming fields, whatever stirs your soul. As you lie there imagining, know that your spirit is listening. The subconscious is active, receptive, forming. The seeds you plant merge with the infinite intelligence. And in the morning, unseen harmonies begin to rearrange your life. New ideas, new doors, new flows of prosperity. This is not passive resignation. This is powerful cooperation. It is not forcing. It is aligning. It is not striving. It is trusting. It is not grabbing. It is receiving. When you rest in that posture, your hands are free to be channels, not containers, grip tight. You let go so that spirit can let in, and when the overflow begins, you will see it in small miracles first: a timely call, a whispered guidance, a supportive hand, a new opportunity. But then the tide will rise, and you will stand, not in wonder, but in knowing, this is indeed my divine estate. Once you walk in that estate, your life becomes a lighthouse. Others, hungry for light, will be drawn. Your faith, your testimony, your generosity will awaken them to their own possibility. And as they rise, the current grows. Your cup does not diminish, it expands. The waters pour through you, into them, and back into the great reservoir of good for all. So, tonight, as you prepare to rest, remember, you are never outside the field of creation. Your words still birth realities. Your imagination still forms your tomorrow. Let them be mighty. Let them be aligned. Let them be bold. For you are destined not merely to live in prosperity, but to live in abundance. As a radiant demonstration of the divine mind made manifest on earth, sleep, then, not into emptiness, but into overflow. Drift not into worry, but into faith. Close your eyes, not in fear, but in expectation. Open your heart, then, and receive the rivers of glory, wisdom, and wealth. And when morning comes, rise with wings, step into your seamless increase, and rejoice in the current that lifts all lives. So be it, and so it is. Even as you drift into the stillness of night, a sacred alchemy is taking place within you. The conscious mind may surrender to sleep, but the deeper realm of the subconscious is wide awake, weaving every impression you have left upon it. This invisible workshop of spirit continues its divine labor, building your world from the material of your thoughts, emotions, and declarations. When you understand this truth, you no longer treat sleep as a mere pause in your day, but as a spiritual ceremony, a time of planting and renewal, where what you sow inwardly blossoms outwardly as tangible blessings. Before you close your eyes, your final thoughts become the blueprint of your unseen creation. The subconscious, obedient and impartial, takes every word as a command, every image as instruction. If you drift into slumber, murmuring words of lack, fear, or worry, you are watering weeds that will rise again with the morning light. But if you choose to fill your heart with faithful decrees, affirmations of abundance, harmony, and divine provision, you are sowing seeds that will bear golden fruit in your waking hours. You are, in essence, instructing your soul to go to work while your body rests. Sleep is not inactivity. It is participation in a higher order of creation. It is the moment when the conscious will releases its grip and the deeper currents of divine intelligence take command. The imagination, when purified by faith, becomes a creative force beyond measure. To lie down in peace, holding the image of overflowing good, is to turn your bed into an altar where spirit pours out the wealth of heaven into your life. The quiet hours of the night are the most receptive. They are the doorway through which divine supply enters the garden of your mind. Imagine, then, as you prepare for rest, that you are sinking into a river of luminous energy.com, abundant and eternal. Feel that flow surrounding you, filling every part of your being with assurance and ease. Let every breath remind you that you are not alone. You are in union with infinite intelligence, and this intelligence knows only increase. Whisper softly to yourself, all that is mine by divine right now comes to me. I rest in the certainty of abundance. I sleep in the arms of infinite supply. These words are not idle poetry, they are sacred decrees, vibrating through every level of your consciousness. Through such practice, sleep becomes an act of faith, a surrender into divine order. You no longer close your eyes in fatigue, but in gratitude. You no longer wake in anxiety, but in expectancy. The night becomes your ally, the subconscious your servant, the imagination your bridge to unseen realities. And as you rest, heaven labors on your behalf, shaping from the invisible the rich substance of your dreams, until, in due time, they appear before you as the overflow of divine wealth made real. Every word you speak carries the vibration of creation. Words are not mere sounds, they are living forces, infused with spiritual power, shaping the very fabric of your experience. When spoken with faith, they are divine decrees that summon unseen forces to bring your good into manifestation. Yet when uttered in fear or doubt, they reinforce the walls of limitation and delay your blessings. The tongue is both a key and a sword. It opens doors to abundance or cuts the cord of possibility, depending on how it is used. Each phrase you speak moves through the unseen ethers, imprinting your environment with energy that either uplifts or confines. This is why one who has learned the secret of right words walks in quiet mastery. Knowing that nothing is more sacred than the speech of faith, to release limitation, one must first become aware of the subtle language of defeat that often passes unnoticed. Every complaint, every declaration of lack, every phrase, beginning with I can't or I don't, acts as a spell of confinement. The universe, ever obedient, takes such words as law and mirrors them back as experience. Yet the same principle that binds also frees. The moment you replace fear-laden statements with affirmations of truth, I can supplied, I am guided and prospered, you dissolve invisible chains. These words are not meant to convince some distant power, they awaken the power already within. You speak, not to reach upward for help, but to summon forth the divinity already planted in your being. Faith-filled words carry a tone that the universe recognizes. They vibrate with certainty, not pleading. When you speak from faith, you are not asking for abundance, you are declaring its presence. You are aligning your consciousness with the eternal law that knows no lack. This is the creative power that has built worlds and moved mountains, and it answers to conviction. The wise do not allow idle chatter or self-pity to slip past their lips, for they understand that every syllable is a seed. To speak carelessly is to plant weeds in the garden of one's life. To speak deliberately, with faith, is to cultivate a paradise of good fortune. When doubt arises, the faithful do not argue with it, they overrule it with the authority of their spoken word. A mind can waver, but a word, once spoken with conviction, carves its path through the unseen. Say to yourself, I dissolve every false appearance. I speak divine order into my affairs. I call forth the substance of prosperity now. Let these words roll off your tongue as though you were speaking eternal truth, because you are. In time, life begins to echo those same words back to you in opportunities, in solutions, in blessings that appear just when they are needed. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold effortlessly. For the spoken word of faith is the voice of the divine working through you. Speak, therefore. As one who commands lightened, the darkness must yield. There is a great difference between striving and divine alignment. Striving comes from the anxious belief that one must make everything happen through force, effort, and control. It is the restless motion of a mind disconnected from its source, attempting to rearrange circumstances by willpower alone. Divine order, however, moves in calm authority. It does not rush, it does not doubt, and it never falters. It knows that everything unfolds in perfect timing, guided by a higher intelligence that sees the entire pattern of your life. When you surrender the urge to push, worry, and grasp, you begin to feel the quiet rhythm of divine order carrying you. This is not idleness, it is intelligent cooperation with the universal law of harmony. To walk in divine order is to trust the invisible orchestration behind every event. The moment you align your thoughts with truth, life begins to rearrange itself to match that vibration. You do not have to chase opportunities. They come to you as naturally as the tide returns to the shore. You become magnetic to right people, right ideas, and right circumstances because your energy is in agreement with the current of spirit. Many struggle and exhaust themselves trying to force results, believing that success must come through strain. But those who learn to rest in divine order find that results flow without friction. They do not withdraw from action, but their action arises from inspiration rather than desperation. Divine order is the law of perfect timing, and when you obey its rhythm, you move with grace. There is no sense of delay, only unfolding. What appears to be a setback is often the rearrangement of the stage for your greater good. What seems like an unanswered prayer is merely a preparation for a better outcome. When you trust this, fear loses its grip, and peace takes its place. You begin to realize that your only true work is to stay inwardly aligned, to think rightly, speak rightly, and act when prompted by the still, clear voice within. This inner obedience releases you from the bondage of external struggle. When you act from divine order, your efforts are blessed because they are synchronized with a higher plan. The smallest action done in alignment produces greater results than frantic labor done in confusion. You are no longer trying to push the river, you are flowing with it. Each day becomes a partnership with the unseen hand of wisdom. You begin to see divine signs in ordinary moments, gentle confirmations that all is unfolding exactly as it should. Even delays, once resented, are recognized as merciful pauses that protect and prepare you. Walking in divine order transforms your relationship with life itself. Instead of fighting against circumstances, you cooperate with the current of good that is always moving toward you. You discover that peace, not pressure, is the birthplace of miracles. And in that peace, everything you have been striving for begins to arrive not through toil, but through trust. For divine order is never hurried, yet it never fails. It fulfills all things in perfect time, in perfect harmony, and in perfect ease. When you live as a vessel of divine prosperity, your life ceases to be a private affair. It becomes a radiant channel through which blessings flow to others. Abundance is not meant to stagnate within one person. It is a living current, ever moving, ever expanding. When you open yourself to receive the good that Spirit offers, you do so not merely for personal gain but to serve as a conduit of increase for the world around you. The overflowing cup naturally spills over, nourishing every dry place it touches. In this way, your prosperity becomes a ministry, a silent teaching that awakens others to their own divine inheritance. To live as a beacon is to understand that true wealth is not confined to gold or possessions, but to consciousness. When your inner state is filled with gratitude, peace, and assurance, you emit an unseen light that uplifts those who come near you. People feel your calm, your certainty, your joy, and, without words, they are reminded that the same source that sustains you lives within them. You do not need to preach abundance. Your life becomes the sermon. Every act of generosity, every expression of kindness, every word of encouragement radiates invisible power. It sends forth ripples that extend far beyond what you can see, setting in motion new waves of blessing. This is the mystery of overflow. The more you give, the more you have to give. Divine wealth operates by circulation, not accumulation. Just as rivers remain pure because they flow, your prosperity remains vibrant when it moves through you. The one who clings in fear of loss eventually blocks the very current that sustains them. But the one who gives freely, joyfully, and wisely steps into partnership with the eternal law of increase. The universe cannot pour into a closed hand. When you release your good to bless others, you prove that you trust the source, and that trust invites greater supply. Your influence may reach farther than you imagine. A simple word of faith spoken to a weary soul may plant the seed of transformation. A quiet act of generosity may awaken hope in a heart that had forgotten it existed. The light you carry spreads by contact, by presence, by example. As more lives are touched by your radiance, the collective vibration of abundance rises. In this shared upliftment, everyone participates in the same divine circulation of wealth and wisdom. You receive not to possess, but to multiply. You prosper not to boast, but to bless. To live this way is to stand as a lighthouse on the shore of spirit, steady, bright, unshaken by storms. Others may find their way because of your glow, and as they rise, you rise with them, for there is no separation in the realm of divine good. The current that flows through one flows through all, widening with every heart it touches. Thus, your abundance becomes eternal, for it exists not in what you keep, but in what you allow to pass through you, in ever-expanding love.